Hello and happy Halloween. So, great class last night. I really love what y'all did with the trailer redesigns, and I love what you did also with the iconic sound recreates. Those are tricky. It's hard to pick the right type of sound to do and then go around and pick your sources and figure out how to put it all together. In many ways, it reminds me of the practice of transcribing solos. And for those that haven't done it, you go through and you take little nuggets, little tiny snippets of a solo, and you learn that little lick in all 12 keys, or you write it out, or both. And then from there, you take another little nugget and you just keep making it bigger and bigger until you have the whole solo memorized and in your fingers, in your hands, in your ears. And it's tricky, and you might have to scale up the difficulty of solos that you're doing. Same thing with sounds. This is something where it is a skill set that involves two things. One is you have to identify, what am I hearing? How is this put together? What's the cadence? Where are the components, the parts of this sound? And then from there, you have to start to learn, okay, where are the sources I could use to get close to that sound? And then where are the effects that I would need to use to make it really have that final 10%, really get close to the original sound. It is tricky, but I was really pleased with what y'all did. I mainly just wanted that to be something that you start doing, and if you get interested in that, you can do it more and more. Real quick, I have a client that I've worked with a lot, and they give me a lot of sound references, and they want the sounds to be pretty close to their references. It's not like, hey, get kind of close. They want to be within, of course, keep it within copyright, be clear of copyright issues, but they want something fairly close. And so I had to repeatedly just keep going back and look at the references, listen to them, and then reconstruct them as best I could. And it's tricky, but you get better and better the more you do it. All right, we talked about continuous modulators. A modulator will just change the volume or the pitch or both, and it just plays that value the whole time. So +2, then -1, then 0, then +10. Whatever that range is, it's going to do that, but it's going to stay consistent. A continuous modulator will do that dynamically, and it's based on variables. So for example, this one is based on speed for both the volume and the pitch. And then what you have is your min input is married to your min output. Your max input is married to your max output. So for example, for pitch, it's a 0 for min input, which means min output 0.9. And then as you go up and you speed up from 0 all the way up to 1, it's going to dynamically go up from 0.9 to 2. So that's how this works. It's pretty simple, and you heard that. You have 3 different tire loops here. They all sound pretty similar. And if I play this, and I mute that, and you heard this last night. And as I slow down, it stops. So, pretty simple. One other thing about this one that they chose to do is the volume actually gets softer as you reach max speed, and the inverse, as you slow down, the volume gets louder. That's a choice that they made. You can change this however you want to. So that's a continuous modulator. Next week, we will talk a little bit about this one, crossfade by parameter. This is what the engine is doing. It's not a continuous modulator, and it has 5 different sources. And this is based off of RPM. And it has similar kind of things, but it's talking about a fade in and a fade out, start and end. And it's basically going to allow you to go from one segment and then fade into the next, then fade into the following one, and fade into the next one, and fade into the last one. And it's an interesting little tool. And there is a little bit of, well, we'll talk more about that later. But there's not really a pitch volume to this. There's a just volume change to this. Fade in, fade out. And it's pretty simple. Basically, RPM start here, RPM value end, and then the start and end, and what the volume is going to be for this, and where it's going to fade in and stop, fade out. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But anyway, so what we're doing next week is we are turning in the music. Don't forget, Have your music be interactive across the entire length of the song. Each tier should have something that adds or takes away based on gameplay. So really test that. Go in and push the hotkeys and be like 1, 2, or 3 to turn those things on or off if you need to do quick tests to make sure is this really being interactive or not, and go from there. All right, last thing that I meant to talk about last night that I started to and then I forgot was as we go into Project 5 next week, after next week, which will probably be a full lecture on just Project 5 and getting our bearings, from there, you're going to have a pretty long time to work on this project. Let's pull up the old calendar. All right, so we are going to be here next week, the 6th. And then we have, I believe, 13th and the 20th, and I believe the 27th. And then from there, we have the 4th. So we're going to have three lessons or 3 class sessions, 13th, 20th, and 27th. And we will meet and do check-ins on various spots of the main project. And then from there, we'll do the turn-in and the last class on the 4th. And we'll all be crying because we'll be sad. No, actually, seriously, honestly, I've loved teaching y'all. You have done fantastic this course. So thank you so much. And it will be sad to have it end. But my point being is the 13th, the 20th, the 27th, it is very likely that we won't spend that entire time talking about the final. So what are we going to do instead? We're going to have these mini lectures, kind of like what I did with the Continuous Modulator this past class session. Won't be that short, but I'll have little things like, here's how I built my website, and here's how I built my demo reel, and why. And we'll look at several other websites. I'm going to try and bring in my friend Emmanuel Lagumbe from Riot Games to talk a little bit about getting into the industry. We're going to look at some other spots like splines, for example. These are things that are not necessarily going to be in the final project, but are still useful for you to know. We're going to look at source control, look at levels, sub-levels, what those do for game development. Just so you have an understanding, a basic like, yeah, I'm familiar with this. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where they're actually using sub-levels, they're using version control, or you want to build a website and portfolio, you have some bearing, be like, yeah, I can do this. So that's what I meant to talk about last night that I forgot is moving forward, we'll have key points we hit about the project. We'll do check-ins because the quality bar for the final project is going to be higher. I really want you to spend, that's why I'm giving you so many weeks, basically almost the month, well, just shy. So we're going to spend a lot of time on the final project and make that feel as awesome as it can be. And like I said last night, the final project is going to encapsulate everything that we've learned so far. Interactive footsteps, interactive music. You're going to have ambient sounds. You're going to have particle sounds, emitter sounds. You're going to have character sounds, VO type stuff. Nothing serious like the acting is. It's more like gruntal, and that type of thing. So you don't have to like go and hire a professional actor. You can do this. A friend can do it. Get them a pizza or whatever, and or some kind of trade there if you want to. But yeah, go through, and this is gonna be super fun. And this is gonna be a piece that really should be a great portfolio. The rest of these have been little snippets. This is something you can say, hey, here's a full game situation. So I'm real excited to dig into this. I think it should be a good final project for y'all. If you have any questions throughout the week, if you're curious, hey, Nate, here's where I am with the music. Take a listen. Let me know what you think. Happy to do that. Reach out to me. Otherwise, I will see y'all next Monday. Thanks.